Have Andy Archer here with us from the Bananas. Andy, welcome into our studio, which is also your field today.
Man, thank you so much for having me. Honored to represent my organization and just fired up to be back here in Peachtree Corners, Gwinnett County, and just kind of go back in front of the fans that, quite honestly, supported me so well at my time at Georgia Tech and at Wesleyan. So very
absolutely
humbling.
So you are a local boy, local product. Homegrown talent on the Bananas.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Peachtree Corners, went to Wesleyan High School, and then got to pitch for Georgia Tech. What's it like being able to come back now as a professional? I got to imagine that's kind of a dream come true.
Oh, 100%. I think you got to do things to kind of bring you back to those days. So when you go up in Peachtree Corners, you go to Wesleyan, you go to Georgia Tech, you eat a lot of Waffle House. So the first thing I did when I got back, go get an all-star special, chocolate chip waffle, hash browns. And I think after that, I was like, okay, you know what? I can play in front of 12,000
How do you
fans.
get your hash browns? That's the magical question. Scattered, smothered, covered, chunk
I get them
dice?
plain, brother.
Plain?
Yeah, I get them plain.
Okay. I get them extra crispy. That's the only thing
Can't
I
go
ask
wrong
for.
with that.
Yeah.
Andy, you played collegiately at Georgia Tech. Obviously, as a college baseball player, the goal is to go to the pros.
Yeah.
Talk about your journey. How did you end up as a Banana?
Yeah, crazy story. I'll keep it brief. So Georgia Tech initially walked on the team. So just, so grateful to Danny Hall. Give me a chance to just walk on because of my grades. Go to school, kids. Pay attention. And then from there, developing into the closer and then the Saturday starter, mixing in Tommy John surgery on my pitching elbow, and then having that overlap with COVID, basically going to about 2 years without pitching. And so from there, kind of just, wondering if my dream is still alive at any fashion. Had a few free agent contracts after my time at Georgia Tech finished. Transferred to the University of Hawaii after that. Had an amazing year, and then I sat at a desk for a year and a half until something in me decided that I needed to play again. So I started training. I had a shoulder surgery from an injury I sustained at Georgia Tech. And my first call with the Bananas, I had my arm in a sling, and I was on painkillers. I don't remember what I said, but it was good enough to get me a tryout. And I was still throwing 92 miles an hour, and so here I am.
So one of the cool things about Banana Ball is it is competitive baseball, but it's with a lot of entertainment, and it's for the fans to have fun. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, growing up, I know you've had a ton of fun playing Banana Ball already this year, but I want to ask you, when you were growing up, what's a fun memory you had? What's the first time or one of the main times you remember as a young amateur player going, this game's also fun? We're supposed to goof off a little bit. Talk about something you did growing up that now you go, oh, I was just playing Banana Ball early.
It's so funny. I just think about my last year in middle school playing for Wesleyan, and I was the new kid that year. And so I transferred in. All these guys have been playing together since they were 5 years old. I started baseball late, but our whole team motto was dogpile. We talked about it from the very first practice all the way through the championship game. When we actually did that, and just kind of, I just think about going to school, going to class, hanging out on the weekends, playing Call of Duty until 2 o'clock in the morning, and then going to baseball practice, developing those bonds with my teammates, some of which were trying to come out and watch me this weekend. And I think for me, the fun part is just going out and taking the field with guys that love you and trust you. Just know that no matter what happens, you guys are going to go and have a good time after the game.
Getting a ticket for these games is tough to get.
Yeah.
As a player, I'm sure you get your allotment, but being local, you probably needed more than your normal allotment. Did you just go to your teammates who don't have local ties and say, let me use your tickets as well?
Yeah, that's where some bartering comes into play. I think I'm a pretty charismatic guy. I think I can get what I want most of the time. So you got to trade a little bit. Maybe it's a dinner for 2 tickets. Maybe it's a little more than that. Or maybe it's just got to butter up somebody's mom the right way, and they might slide you 2 tickets. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. I think you can solve a problem a lot of different ways. Skin a cat. How do they say it?
Yeah. So as we've said, this is a lot of fun, but it is also competitive. So I got to ask you, in a baseball game without all the entertainment wrapped around, they would tell a pitcher, hey, is there anybody in the lineup you got to be real careful with? Who on the party animals, I won't say scares you because nobody scares you. You're a Yellow Jacket, now also on a yellow team.
Yeah.
But who's the player on the party animals when they step in the box? You got to make sure my change up is extra sharp. Yeah. My breaking stuff is really. Give me who's that in the box for you?
Yeah. So easy answer. He's the leadoff hitter with the Party Animals, Reese Hampton, and he torched it when he was at AA with the Tigers organization. Switch hitter. He hits for power. He hits for contact. He's a tough out, and he's an intimidating guy. I think he just loves to compete. And because he is so good at what he does, I think he represents this organization and what we do so well, because it is, like you said, very talented baseball as well.
Now, this is also your first season with the Bananas. What's your favorite memory so far, or best strikeout you have so far?
Okay, I'll answer both. So best memory is easy. Opening weekend in Tampa, there was a kid who came to our early game experience, VIB, where we get to interact with fans and have special moments with them. And he had a brand new glove. And so I just asked him, Connor, do you want to play catch? And he said, yeah. And it turned out it was his first time ever playing catch. And we just kept throwing. We had to figure out which foot we were stepping with first just to make sure that we're able to get it there. But after that, I was able to connect with his family, and he's playing youth baseball for the first time ever. And so I think just having that moment, sharing with him was his first ever game of catch, was to me extremely humbling. And I hope that, he goes and plays MLB, and he plays for the Bananas one day too.
Yeah.
But favorite strikeout, I think there's a guy, Tanner Thomas, and he likes to do, he's a big name, and he's a great hitter, great player, represents the party animal super well. And he does a lot of intros, big entrances, and I love to strike him out when he does one of those.
Just because he can walk to the plate with all the music,
Yeah,
but then he's got to walk.
Tech guy,
then he's got to walk back to the dugout after you've struck him out.
Exactly.
After you've played banana ball now, or now that you're playing with the banana, is there anything else you'd want to do? I mean, it seems like this is a dream job. I mean, I know every guy wants to go to the major leagues. Is that still a dream, or is I love what I'm doing here?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think for me, if I at the end of the season, if I got the Braves called me and said we want to sign you to a minor league contract, I would say no, because this is the most fun I've ever had on a baseball field.
If they said major league contract,
you're a good negotiator. You're a good barterer. So
I think the first thing I would do is talk to my teammates about it.
Okay, but minor league contract, no, you'd stay here.
100%. 100%. Just because of the bonds that I have with those guys in there in such a short amount of time, and just the impact that we have. And that's one thing that I don't think you can do at the major league level is do what we do just with the next generation of baseball players.
Yeah. Andy Archer, pitcher for Savannah Bananas, thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
It was so much fun watching you guys today. You've got a doubleheader today. So, the dance moves. You strong on the dance moves?
Getting there. I just came from, hey, listen,
Dance
player
practice.
dance, third inning. You're going to be watching somebody tall and lanky out there crushing it. All right, I need like 5 cups of coffee, but that's fine. We can do that.
And by the way, last question. What's the good word?
To hell with Georgia.
Amen.
Go Dogs.
So, for Andy Archer and for Mike Salmon, this is Stephen Julian. We'll